There's a white powder that costs less than $2, and it can drop the temperature of your house by nearly 10 degrees. No electricity, no compressor, no humming machine outside your window. Just a simple mineral mixed with water and brushed onto a roof. Under the blazing summer sun, it reflects almost all incoming heat back into the sky. Roofs coated with it stay dramatically cooler than dark shingles. Entire houses feel the difference. And the strange part? This is not new technology. Ancient civilizations were already using this exact trick thousands of years ago to keep homes cool in brutal desert heat. So if a $2 powder can reduce the need for air conditioning, why has almost nobody heard about it? And why do modern homes keep getting hotter while electricity bills climb higher every summer? To understand that, we need to go back thousands of years to the white villages along the Mediterranean coast where this forgotten cooling secret began. Today, keeping a house cool has become one of the most expensive parts of modern life. Air conditioners run for hours every day during the summer. Compressors roar, fans spin, and electricity meters tick upward faster than most people realize. In many cities, cooling a home can add hundreds of dollars to a single monthly power bill. And the hotter the climate becomes, the harder those machines have to work. But there's another problem most homeowners never think about. The surfaces around us are designed to trap heat. Dark roofs, asphalt shingles, and concrete walls absorb sunlight all day long, turning homes into giant heat batteries. By afternoon, rooftops can reach temperatures well above 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Even after the sun sets, that stored heat slowly leaks into the house. Your air conditioner isn't just cooling the air, it's fighting the heat stored in the building itself. Which raises an obvious question. What if instead of constantly fighting heat with machines, we simply stopped our homes from absorbing it in the first place? Long before air conditioners, electricity, or even modern cities existed, people living in some of the hottest places on Earth had already discovered a simple way to keep their homes cool. Travel across the Mediterranean coastline, and you'll notice something unusual. Entire villages are painted bright white. From the cliffside homes of Santorini in Greece, to the sun-bleached buildings of southern Spain, to the narrow streets of Morocco and Tunisia. For thousands of years, these communities covered their homes with a simple white coating made from crushed limestone mixed with water. The mixture hardened into a chalky layer known as limewash. It was cheap, easy to make, and incredibly effective. Under the brutal Mediterranean sun, dark stone and clay buildings would normally absorb heat all day like an oven. But the white lime coating reflected most of the sunlight back into the sky before it could warm the walls beneath. The difference was dramatic. While surrounding rock surfaces baked in the heat, whitewashed houses stayed noticeably cooler inside. Thick stone walls combined with reflective lime created a natural cooling system that required no machines, no electricity, and no maintenance beyond a fresh coat every year. Ancient Greek records describe entire towns being whitewashed each spring before the hottest months arrived. Even today, many islands still follow the tradition, not because it looks beautiful, although it does, but because it works. For centuries, this simple white coating helped people survive scorching summers using nothing more than sunlight, stone, and a mineral that could be found almost anywhere on Earth. The reason this simple white coating works comes down to one basic principle of physics: how surfaces interact with sunlight. When sunlight hits a dark roof, most of that energy is absorbed and converted into heat. Asphalt shingles, for example, can absorb nearly 90% of incoming sunlight. That energy has to go somewhere, so it turns the roof into a massive heat source that slowly radiates warmth into the house below. But white mineral coatings behave very differently. Materials like lime and calcium carbonate reflect a huge portion of sunlight back into the atmosphere before it can turn into heat. In scientific terms, they have a very high solar reflectance, meaning they bounce light away instead of trapping it. That single difference can dramatically change surface temperatures. On a hot summer afternoon, a dark roof can easily reach temperatures above 150 degrees Fahrenheit. But a bright reflective surface can stay dozens of degrees cooler under the exact same sun. That means less heat enters the building in the first place. And if the house never absorbs that heat, the air conditioner doesn't have to fight nearly as hard to remove it. For a long time, people assumed white roofs worked simply because they looked bright in the sun. But modern research has revealed that the cooling effect is far more powerful than anyone expected. In recent years, Scientists studying something called radiative cooling began testing highly reflective mineral coatings on rooftops and building surfaces. One of the most famous studies came from researchers at Purdue University who developed what they called the whitest paint ever recorded. This coating was designed to reflect nearly 98% of incoming sunlight, sending most of that energy back into the atmosphere before it could heat the surface below. The results surprised even the scientists. Surfaces coated with highly reflective materials didn't just stay cooler than dark roofs. In some conditions, they actually dropped below the surrounding air temperature during the day. That means the roof itself was cooling the building naturally. Researchers calculated that a reflective coating on about 1,000 square feet of roof could generate cooling power comparable to a small residential air conditioner without using a single watt of electricity. What ancient builders discovered through experience thousands of years ago. Modern science is now confirming with precision, instruments, and laboratory experiments. Sometimes the oldest solutions turn out to be surprisingly advanced, but if a simple reflective coating can cool buildings so effectively, why isn't it standard on every roof today? The answer may have less to do with physics and more to do with economics. Modern air conditioning has become a massive global industry. Air conditioners, installation services, maintenance, and electricity consumption together represent hundreds of billions of dollars every year. Entire supply chains exist around the idea that cooling a building requires complex machines running all summer long. Manufacturers sell the units. Energy companies sell the electricity to power them. Service technicians charge to maintain and repair them. It's a system built around continuous consumption. A mineral coating that costs just a few dollars and passively reflects heat from a roof doesn't fit neatly into that model. It doesn't require compressors, refrigerant systems, electrical wiring, or seasonal servicing. It simply sits there, reflecting sunlight. That doesn't mean reflective materials are hidden or forbidden. Many modern cool roof coatings actually use the same basic principles today. But the simple, low-cost versions of this idea never became the centerpiece of the cooling industry. Instead, the world grew used to solving heat with machines rather than preventing it in the first place. So, what exactly is this simple powder that ancient builders used to cool entire villages? The answer is surprisingly ordinary. It's hydrated lime, a mineral powder made from limestone that has been used in construction for thousands of years. When mixed with water, hydrated lime creates a thin coating called limewash. Once applied to walls or rooftops, it dries into a bright white surface that reflects a large portion of sunlight. Unlike modern synthetic paints, limewash is made from natural minerals. It's breathable, inexpensive, and widely available at hardware stores around the world. A small bag often costs just a few dollars and can cover large surfaces when diluted with water. For centuries, people brushed this mixture onto stone houses, clay walls, and rooftops every spring before the hottest months arrived. The result was simple but effective, a reflective shield that bounced heat away from the building before it ever had the chance to enter. Using this method is surprisingly simple, and it follows almost the exact same process people have used for centuries. First, purchase a bag of hydrated lime from a hardware or building supply store. It's commonly used for masonry, gardening, and traditional lime wash coatings. Next, mix the powder with clean water in a bucket. A common ratio is roughly 1 part lime to 2 parts water, stirred until it forms a thin, milky liquid. The mixture should look similar to watered-down paint. Once mixed, apply it to the roof or exterior walls using a roller, brush, or even a simple garden sprayer. Lime wash spreads easily and naturally dries into a bright white surface. For best results, apply 2 light coats, allowing the first coat to dry before adding the second. As the coating cures, it forms a reflective mineral layer that helps bounce sunlight away from the building. It's the same basic technique that has been used on homes around the Mediterranean for generations. Simple materials, minimal tools, and a surprisingly powerful cooling effect. A few years ago, a homeowner in Central Texas decided to test this ancient cooling idea on his own house. Summers in that part of the United States are brutal. Afternoon temperatures often climb well above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and air conditioners run almost constantly just to keep indoor spaces comfortable. Like many homeowners, he noticed that his attic was becoming extremely hot during the day. On some afternoons, temperatures inside the attic reached nearly 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That heat slowly radiated downward into the living space, forcing the air conditioner to work harder and longer. Instead of installing a more powerful cooling system, he tried something much simpler. He coated his dark roof with a reflective lime-based mixture, similar to traditional limewash used for centuries around the Mediterranean. The results were immediate. Within weeks of applying the coating, attic temperatures during peak afternoon sun dropped to around 95 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That difference alone significantly reduced how much heat entered the house. Inside the home, the air conditioner began cycling less frequently. Rooms stayed cooler longer, and the overall electricity use for cooling dropped noticeably during the hottest months of the year. By the end of the summer, his electricity bill showed a significant reduction compared with the previous year. It wasn't a miracle cure, and the coating still required occasional maintenance. But the experiment demonstrated something important. Sometimes lowering the temperature of a home isn't only about stronger machines. It's about preventing heat from entering the building in the first place. For thousands of years, people built homes in some of the hottest climates on Earth without electricity, compressors, or mechanical cooling systems. They relied on something much simpler: stone walls, shade, airflow, and bright reflective surfaces that sent sunlight back into the sky before it could turn into heat. The white villages scattered across the Mediterranean are not just beautiful tourist destinations. They are living reminders of a time when architecture itself helped solve the problem of heat. Long before power grids and air conditioners existed, people understood that the easiest heat to remove is the heat that never enters the building in the first place. Modern technology has given us incredible machines capable of cooling entire cities. But sometimes the most powerful solutions are also the simplest. A mineral pulled from the earth, a bucket of water, and a thin white coating that has protected homes from the sun for generations. In a world searching for smarter and more efficient ways to stay cool, it's possible that one of the oldest ideas humanity discovered is still quietly doing its job today, just as it has for thousands of years. If this idea surprised you, share this video with someone who's constantly battling summer heat. Sometimes the solutions our ancestors discovered are still hiding in plain sight. And if you enjoy exploring forgotten science, ancient techniques, and simple ideas that still work today, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Because the next forgotten trick we uncover might surprise you even more.